Hello, historical people. It's Wes, and I wanted to talk about sources versus what actually works in HEMA. Well, that's what I've been asked to title the video anyway. So that's what we're going to do. Now, I've just recently started up my own club. I was an instructor for about 2 years with the Order of the Blade, who were a kind of freestyle club. So when I've started HEMA, if you want to call it HEMA, um, we came in, we weren't using manuscripts at all. It was kind of like the syllabus was just drawn from, I don't know, the depths of wherever. Um, I think there's a bit of a Kenjutsu influence or something like that. But basically, we didn't touch on the sort of traditional sources, no George Silver, no Mayer, no Fiore, no nothing. Um, to my knowledge, at least. So it was kind of interesting. My first year or so, I basically didn't touch a manuscript at all. Realistically, I think I got a Talhofer book, but then that there's no words in that. So, um, so a lot of it was like a self discovery, which was really fun. And I don't regret it one bit. I mean, maybe somebody could have taught me some of the fundamentals quicker, possibly. I don't know. I can't rewind time and try again. But that was my local club, and that was my way into it. So, say what you want. But it was quite good because you have to think for yourself. So you begin to try to think down certain lines and you find your own way of understanding that type of combat. I've done loads of other martial arts before, I've done Kali Eskrima, Muay Thai, boxing, all that sort of shit. So, I'm used to sparring, I'm used to the format of hand to hand combat and things like that. So when you start putting an actual weapon in your hands, changes the game up a little bit for me. Okay, like I'm big on my control. I don't like just slamming people. It's not something I'm a fan of at all. Um, so the idea of sort of perfect fencing to me really like speaks to me. So after the sort of first-ish year, having sources available to sort of go in and look at those, that was incredible because I'd already given myself a little bit of a base of just fundamental. Oh, this is what fighting with swords is like. This is kind of the thought pattern I've been taking towards it. So then it became, what are other people looking at? How can I learn from others? And that sent me on a bit of a journey of picking and choosing. And, as some of you know, I've been going on and on and on about English longsword because I'd like to sort of try and revive that. But there's so much out there to learn from or to speculate on. And there's so many people now, especially online. YouTube, you've got so many opportunities to learn a specific style from people that have been doing it for years and teach it and win in tournament with those styles. So I think it's quite important now to keep the sources in mind, keep the manuscripts or some of the sort of traditions and styles in the forefront of your mind because you will come across people that are Fiorists or are Mayor people or whatever, Lichtenauer fencers, things like that. So just knowing how they may fence or at least the terminology they're going to use and things like that, it can help you understand the game a lot more. Now, obviously, that becomes a second job of learning different languages and learning different fucking interpretations of things. Um, so it's not an easy thing to do necessarily, especially if you want to look at multiple sources, which I highly recommend people do. Um, but if you're going to go and do that, it could be a lot of work. Okay, and I think that's what I don't know if it's off-putting for people, but I know there was a certain stigma when I started with our club about people that read the books, people that read the people of the book. But is what it is. It's one of those things. Everybody gives shit to people that do things differently. It just is what it is. Human nature, probably. But yeah, after you start reading the sources and stuff, you go, "Oh no, a lot of this stuff makes perfect sense." Like when you look at the German master cuts and the situations that you're supposed to use some of those in, you're like, "Oh fucking hell, yeah, that's actually quite a useful idea." When I find myself in this situation all the time and I've got no answer for it because we're just making shit up, bang, I'll try that, and then you've got an answer for something. Obviously, maybe there's something else we could have made up for the same situation, whatever, whatever. Haven't done so. So, you know, that source, that ticks that box for me. Great. I'll look at the whole thing as us trying to build our own little move lists, like we're playing Soul Calibur or Tekken or something like that. Like, there's no harm in going to a German source, like taking the Tuerhau and the Kron parry into Tuerhau, whatever you want to call it, taking that kind of setup and then putting that into my English longsword game somehow. um, Picking and choosing. I think we're in a period of time. I think we're in a situation where we've got the ability to. So why not? It doesn't make sense not to. Um, like modern fencing's influenced a lot of HEMA as well. You see a lot of people that come from modern fencing, and they do really well in HEMA because they've got the fundamentals down, the distance management, the timing, etc., etc., and they're able to just land quick, concise hits. So ultimately, fundamental wise, actually, I'll just one more thing before we sort of go on to that. A couple of people within the Order of the Blade. I mean, I've left that club now, but a couple of people in the Order of the Blade, they're actually starting to win like medals and stuff at tournaments, and they would claim to not have learned from manuscripts at all, which is really interesting. So that is starting to kind of show that you don't need to be, super source man to get good at this. Okay, which is really cool because that means we've all got a chance. um, but that being said, I think there's a lot you could miss if you don't look at the manuscripts at all, don't look at the sources at all. I don't, I don't think that everybody should become a complete geek and go dive into every single source they can find. If it interests you, then great, you should go and do it. Um, One danger I have seen from some of the schools as like single discipline or they follow the manuscripts like to the word is you can create a level of rigidity with your fences. So this is the answer as said in the book. So you're trying to play rock, paper, scissors with each other, and when something happens that's just unexpected, then oh shit, what do I do? So there's almost like I feel creating a culture of unexpected of people that fence in an unexpected way is really good. So varying styles, varying attitudes. Um, we've got quite a wide variety at the Danelaw at the moment, which is the new HEMA club that I've started. Um, we've got a variety of fencers. We've got some from like a Lichtenauer background, some that are just they've never read a source before, some that really want to do like a certain weapon style, so that influences all their other fencing, which is just crazy. Um, but having that kind of unpredictability, or at least that variation between opponents, it really keeps your style evolving. Like you've got to stay in a sort of general way. I feel like sometimes there is a danger of training, training each other training each other to sort of train each other. It's probably not very good. I'll think of a better way of explaining that at some point. But if I train with the same person over and over again, they learn how to get better at beating me, um, and I learn to get better at beating them, hopefully. But you kind of end up you running into the same habits again and again and again and again. So you're not necessarily evolving against somebody that's practicing something totally different. So you're always going to run into that. Um, Sort of going off topic now, but so from a freestyle perspective, if you just come in and you want to learn the fundamentals, okay, you could go train modern Olympic fencing for a year, and you probably come into the HEMA game with quite a decent starting like skill set, okay, because your fundamentals ultimately, I mean, let's go George Silver on it. Your four governors, you've got your judgment. Where are they? What guard are they in? What are they going to do? Are they close enough to hurt me? Measure, am I close enough to hurt them? Where do I need to be to smash them with my sword? And then my twofold mind of can I get in, make an attack, and then fly out and get out of there? That's kind of more of a universal concept across the fencing manuals and scriptures and stuff. So if we're not training those fundamentals, ultimately, are we really progressing anywhere? Do we need all of the master cuts and all the other techniques if we haven't got our fundamental governors right? I would argue that no. I think you could probably have two or three techniques, but really good governors, and you will smash a lot of people. Okay, seen it happen. If I'm quite honest. You get some newbies come in and they've just got really good fight sense, or that's what I refer to it, fight sense. So whether it's your distance management, your timing, or your ability to work with the tempos, okay, and throw people off timing wise, that is more powerful, more potent than knowing every single master cut or knowing every single play of the man that will. Do you know what I mean? So there's an element there of core technique, and it is the boring stuff. It is the footwork. It is the moving back and forth, or parrying correctly into a position where you can riposte before they're able to just leave, and things like that, and cutting mechanically well so that you're not telegraphing your attacks. Little fundamentals like that, I would say, are much more. They're going to help you more in the long run than knowing every single master cut. Okay. So, I suppose the other issue in terms of sources, manuscripts, and stuff is if you're a solo fencer, if you haven't got a club to be part of, then kind of you are stuck with what to do. Okay, ultimately, you can't help your geography, um, unless you've got the money to fucking disappear to another country or town or city that has loads of fencing clubs. And what I'd say to that is your manuscripts are probably your best bet until you can find a mate or you can find other people that are interested in it and you can possibly set up your own kind of club. Then and then actually like pressure test things, then you're going to be stuck just learning manuscripts, learning YouTube stuff, learning whatever. Um, in that instance, I would say video yourself, send it to other fencing masters or people that are willing or that also do the thing to a decent level, and see if they can find things. I mean, if you want to send me a video, I'm more than happy to watch it. Like, screw it, I might not have the best advice, but maybe I'll pick up on something that you've not thought about. Um, and that's kind of it. Like, if you can only train to what you've got. If you've got a bunch of crazy people that don't have a set style, you're going to learn how to fight generally a bunch of crazy people. Whereas if you're in a stylistic club, so if you are in a German longsword club, you'll probably get really good at fighting other German longsword fencers. Okay. So I think that there's that kind of separation there. Um, but also, yeah. So back to the initial, the sources versus what actually works. It's such a difficult thing to approach like that. Um, I would say your main tenants, your main governors, your distance management, your timing, and your judgment, they will fundamentally outclass any technique that you have. Okay. If you can get really good at getting in and out of an engagement, you'll be great. If you can get really good at hitting someone before they've even made their action, great. If you get really good at striking somebody during the indes period or whatever in the German stuff, so like as they've done something, you're attacking, dreadnought timing for the order of the blade people. Um, or if you get really good at offending people in the knack in the after action, then you'll be really good. You'll find your style. Some people are really good at stop cuts and before actions or hitting with the first intention, whereas other people they're much better at working in the bind or working in the third and fourth intention and building these big, like really fancy looking plays. But you will find your own way. You have to pressure test things to an extent. You can drill as much as you want at home on your own or whatever. As I said, send videos out if you've got no training partners. Um, but the fundamentals of getting yourself in, getting yourself out, blocking properly, and being able to deliver attacks. That's not what I just said, is it? But getting those sort of fundamental governors, your judgment, so you know where they are, you know where they can hurt you from, you know where you can hurt them from, and then finding that sweet spot, getting the hit in and getting out before you get hit, or defending yourself before you get hit. That is fundamentally and ultimately going to determine how good you are, rather than knowing 1,000 different techniques. The techniques will help because it gives you more in your toolbox for when you need to get the job done. But what it won't do, what the techniques won't do, is make you better at the basics. So ultimately, there's a level of basics that you could learn whether you do sources or not. Ultimately, and if you can get those down, you'll be sound. If you can't, then fine. M Addition to that, if you do know loads of technique and loads of source material, loads of that sort of stuff, there's plenty of tricks that you could inflict on people and fuck up their basics. So I suppose there is that as well. But yeah, those are my thoughts on it. I don't know how long this video has been, but it's been definitely been a fucking ramble. So hopefully it's been helpful. Hopefully it's helped you do something. I don't know. I will see you in a bit. I've got to go get to work. All right. Take care. Bye bye.